So this goes back, it's an interesting thing that Joel mentions here, which is this idea of something big happening July 4th. Yeah, they basically voted for the big bad bill because they wanted to leave. Come on, man, we're on vacation. We got on planes on Thursday night. We're having a 3-day weekend. Yahoo! To hell with America. We didn't want to lose our July 4th. We're roasting weenies by fire. To hell with America. I got a party to get to. On grandma's potato salad, right? They just want to get their 3-day weekend. Give themselves another raise, right? July 7th, what is going on? Any terrorism planned? What the hell is going on? America's stunned and shocked. I can tell you that just with those cards. I mean, like, what the hell has happened? What? You were conned. That's what happened. July. Let's take a look. The Knight of Wands. I see more activity. This is the war card. This is on God, charge. We could be seeing more U.S. service people being deployed to other areas, possibly outside the United States, the Middle East, etc. On God, charge is an act of war. It's typified by the fire sign. Again, space, territory, time. And it's the active, fiery red. And headed there, that horse is going. On God, charge. We're going to war. So we see war. The charge of war. The opposition to the United States is the star. The star. Star is China. Star is, China has the star. Does Iran's flag have a star? The flag of Iran. It used to have the old flag, and then you have the new flag. No star. Interesting that the star comes up because the star is associated with China. So that's got me a little nervous. So we could be seeing something going on also with China. Hopes and fears, grief. America is grieving. They're very, very upset. There's this feeling of grief. Final outcome, we're going to war. War. Knight of Swords is war. The bowl and it's violence. So I see violence here in the United States. I see out of control protest. I see protesters being charged by horses. I see U.S. service people being deployed outside the United States. I think we're going to win the 2026 midterms, because this could be the American people. Actually, this could be the domestic situation, the power of the people, the star. We have to be very clear, and we have to re-examine our party and its relationship with big business. Poverty. People are really afraid of poverty. Can I afford to live here, or do I have to move to Mexico or Panama or somewhere else? If I pay 1/3 of what I pay here just to go over the border of San Diego to Rosarito, Baja, Mexico, Baja, California, then why the hell be here when it's just so easy to go move to, you can get a 6-month visa, and then you just have to leave to go shopping in San Diego every 6 months. It's only 40 minutes. The shuttle comes and takes you there. Then it leaves every hour. Catch the 4 o'clock, ladies. Back to the shuttle. all these seniors going in and out of the Tijuana border. Nobody cares, right? You're not working, or if you are working, you're working online. Final outcome is the dead. So it's not looking good. July 4th, I think, is the beginning of the revolution. Do you think we're looking now at revolution? Do you think that we're now looking at another revolution for the American people? Because I do. Just like when China fell, right? The oligarchs of China, right? The aristocrats, the Forbidden City. It just takes one guy getting us organized. It just takes one Mao, right? Mao Zedong. Organized with his own army, right, of protesters. France, right? People getting assassinated in their beds. The Jacobowitz, was that, what were they called? What were they called? The Jacoba something or others? Some of the artwork is incredible. You guys ever see the artwork from the French Revolution? French Revolution artwork? It became its own genre of art, so that people were, murder in the bathtub. These were real situations. The death of Marat. Girdar Cassinis was the modern painting. Is that correct? I think I know what I'm talking about here. Let's take a look here. So it became the imagery was the imagery of what was going on at that time. What's that? Why is that? I don't know what's going on there. Hold on. Let me try this again. I got it pop up. Ever seen this painting? Beautiful painting. Iconic Jacques David, The Death of Marat. Yeah, I wish we could get a better picture of it. The point is that it was its own genre, right? So, yeah, he also did the, oh, that one's beautiful. Yeah, some of these are just gorgeous. Some of these paintings that really told. He also did several of Napoleon, right? He was the man. David was the man who painted several of the Napoleons. Though they say it wasn't really Napoleon; it was somebody else that he was painting. Yeah, he was stabbed while he was having a bath. Yeah, David was in the classic setting, but yeah, if you look at Napoleon on a horse, that's also painted by David. So the point is, to make a long story short, we're looking at revolution. Knight of Swords, definitely, I would say, is revolution. Yeah. Will it break out? Yes, because there are parades and things that are happening July 4th, and I think it's very likely that it will turn into something more aggressive. People are not happy with this president. Why did Trump freeze weapons going to Ukraine? Let's take a look. Ukraine presents as the Empress. She is wealth personified. It's very wealthy land. The wheat of Ukraine, right? The harvesting of the wheat. So that would be Ukraine's energy. Now is the time when we harvest the wheat, July to August. You have the winter wheat also. We're just about ready to harvest the wheat. Ace of Swords, hopes and fears, Ten of Swords. They're going to have to work out a deal. They're going to have to work out a deal because one of the reasons why there's inflation on food is because of the wheat. The wheat is not the trade. See? Trade. You see? Here's Putin. He had victory, but then he ran out of money. Two of Pentacles. Even his corruption money is missing. Hopes and fears, betrayal, and to be stabbed in the back. Final outcome over the Lovers. August. Putin doesn't have any more money to keep the war going. He's going to have to make a deal because from what I see, there's no more money left. Will the EU give Ukraine more weapons support since Trump stopped military aid? Probably yes. Could be part of his big, beautiful bill. You know, more money for us, more money for the slaveholders, right? People should be angry and we should be organized. There it is again, the charge of war. Yep, they will never, as long as it takes, NATO will not abandon Ukraine because to abandon Ukraine would be the collapse of the West, the higher ethos, the charge of war. We don't need a lot of money. That we just need, the drones, etc., are not expensive. So they can, they're also more tactical. Here comes the King of Peace. I think that Putin wants an out so that they can withdraw troops because of the Chariot and the Six of Swords in the opposition. They want to get out of there. Also, their own troops are abandoning them. It looks to me like somebody comes in to try and negotiate a peace. I think that's Zelensky. I'll tell you, step 4, if they go against the data, then they know. We used supercomputers, the people that were planning this stuff for decades. Now we have supercomputers. Were we right in what we were planning to take back Ukraine and to take out Putin and to the fall of Iran, first by collapsing their proxy military, Syria, etc. Were we wrong in our data? According to now, they have supercomputers. They can look at supercomputers. And what are the supercomputers saying? Supercomputers are take these people out because we're a minute to midnight. And if you don't take them out, we're going to see nuclear war in the Middle East. We're going to see a nuclear meltdown in Eastern Europe. One errant bomb hitting a nuclear power plant, you got a dirty bomb. And this guy is so erratic, he'll do it. Right? So they can't stop. Not if they look at the data. If you look at the data, you have no choice. It's not like there's a choice to be had, right? If the data says you either do this or we're toast, do we really have, if you look at just hard data, do we have a choice? Is there a choice? What do you guys think? What choice is there? If you don't want people to die, if you don't want a nuclear holocaust, what choice do you have? You have to do step 4. After we see a ceasefire in Gaza, We will see hostages exchanged for Hamas prisoners, right? Then Hamas leadership will be invited to a host country, right? And a new government will form with the Arab states helping to create a free place for the people of Gaza, right? And then they will adopt the rebuild. Then we will see a comprehensive rebuild. Then what's step 4 after? What should we start seeing down the pipes? They say that they're going to get to ceasefire this week. Does that bode well for Putin? Probably not, because his being taken out is according to the data, is you go after him next. This is hard science. This is supercomputers determining the fate, that the things we have to do if we don't want to die, right? It's just pure math. And then what do we see comes after the fall of Putin? We must dismantle Iranian leadership. We don't have a choice. We can't make a deal with them because they'll just use the weapons to kill more people in the West. There is no deal to be had, not with this leadership. Maybe someday when Putin is gone and Ali Khamenei is gone, right? Are people mad and upset? Yes. Do people want to scream at the supercomputers? Multiple supercomputers, multiple AI was used. It always came back the same. The data is the data, the math is the math. Why did the computer make these decisions? Because it was easier to topple Putin than Iran. Why was it easier to topple, even though he was popular as hell at one time? Because the strain from the war and the poverty and everything else makes him more vulnerable than Iran, right? He's becoming increasingly isolated, and Ali Khamenei is becoming increasingly isolated. So that is what the data, now if they go against the hard data, then we're in serious trouble.